And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the StarCraft Evolution League number 5. I'm, of course, your Slight VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing people, the players in the chat, the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to your bi-weekly dose of StarCraft Evolution. StarCraft. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, one and all. For those that are curious, this is not StarCraft 2. This is not SE2. This is a mod melding together StarCraft 2 and Brood War. We have our first series, and we are jumping right on in. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Polypoid, we have the blue Terran player, the Brood War Terran. It is Heinzketchup. We're gonna get sued. We're gonna and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Polish Zerg player, the red Zerg. It is Snoxtar. If you are in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. We are still in the round of 32, exclamation mark. Be in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and there is plenty going on. We'll be going over the bracket after this series. For now, we are focusing on our first best of 3. Here we go. Again, if you are familiar with the channel, you'd be familiar a little bit with Snoxtar. Snoxtar is a very aggressive, very cheesy Zerg player from Poland. We have been casting a lot of Snoxtar over the past year, especially in Polish events. But something about Snoxtar is that he has been dabbling in other games. He did compete quite a lot and was quite successful in Stormgate. He competed in Battle Aces, like in the events that did pop up. So Snoxtar, he has been diversifying quite a lot. And a part of that diversity also includes StarCraft Evolution. You know, Snoxtar, he is one of the few Polish players that really did jump in and embraced StarCraft Evolution much more than the others. And I'm curious to see how Snoxtar's style changes in StarCraft Evolution, if at all. Again, as I mentioned, in SE2 at least, Snoxtar is hyper aggressive. Very all in. He's a very all in kind of player. So we'll see how he approaches this. As a reminder, 4-player spawn maps. So the overlords are scouting. We have an overlord here on the right hand side. We have an overlord going towards the bottom left, and the overlord will confirm the spawn location. So the overlord is aware, or Snoxtar is aware now of where Heinzketchup has spawned in. Meanwhile, Heinz is unaware, as the SCV vision, or the building vision, was not large enough to actually spot the overlord. So the Terran player is still scouting. You can see here the SCV is checking the right hand side of the map, and now through the process of elimination, it looks like has confirmed top left. Looks like the SCV went top right first, then bottom right, now top left. So now we're fully aware of what's going on. Again, something about StarCraft Evolution, as you're seeing here, especially if you're watching for the first time, is the fact that we reintroduce 3-player spawn maps and 4-player spawn maps as well. This is something that has long since gone from StarCraft 2. It used to be a thing, you know, back in the day, many years ago, no longer. Meanwhile, Heinzketchup setting up a 4-racks here in his main. It's going to be what looks to be a 4-rack stim timing. He's playing, of course, Brood War Terran, and the academy is needed here to research stim. Add-ons do not exist, so stim should be on the horizon here, and we are going mass marine. So it's going to be a very dedicated stim push here from the blue Terran player. Meanwhile, Snoxtar, he pokes in. He's trying to get what's going on. He does confirm all the marines, but no big tell here. For all he knows, it could just be like a 2-racks opener into a 3rd TC, into a factory, into tank-based build, into something like, I was going to say Banshee, into, what's the other one? The Brood War, you know what I mean. God, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's not the Raven, it's not the Banshee. Well, I mean, regardless, it's not going to be a Starport base build here, and ooh, we even have a couple of Fire Bats morphing in as well. Not to be confused with Hellbats, not to be confused. Let's go. So now we do see Snoxtar opening up Roach. Interesting. Not Baneling. He's going to be opening up Roach. Roach is a very safe way to... Wraith. That's it. Wraith. There you go. I was like, it's not the Valkyrie. It's the other one. The Wraith. Yeah. So he's not opening up Wraith. The Overlord does confirm. The Overlord sees everything. And now Snoxtar is fully aware of what's going on. He spots the Marines. He spots the Medivacs. He does spot the Hellbat. Sorry, the Fire Bat as well. And now it's on Snoxtar to respond. Roaches are now on the way. Queens are going to be amassing as well. But is it going to be enough here? Can Snoxtar hold? The Bio Army does move out. We have a couple of medivacs to help soak some damage. Support the army, of course. Stim isn't actually done, though. Interesting. As we're going for an initially stimless push. But the Marines are here. It's going to be 4 Roaches to defend already. 1 Roach is going to be going down. And 1 Roach is full. 2nd Roach as well. A 3rd Roach. And can we get 4? Can we get the Queen? Oh, this is building up. This is stacking up here. Far too much damage. We're getting on top of additional Roaches. Boys are going to be pulled away. Fireback gets into the mineral line, and it looks like we will defend. A couple of drones are going to go down, but not enough damage. Oh my god. This was a brutal shot towards the end. Look at the Usos tab. Only one drone went down. Snoxtar, he holds. It got a little bit shaky there, and Snoxtar did lose a lot of roaches. That is true. 4 roaches went down, but he didn't lose any of his economy, or he lost 1 drone. Only lost 1 worker, so a very, very clutch defense there out of Snoxtar. Now, bearing in mind that Heinzketchup is going for a bit of a follow-up push here. As a reminder, he pushed without Stim. Now Stim is done, and he's getting ready for that second wave. What I will say, though, is that I'm pretty sure that first push had to do more damage. It was designed to do more damage, maybe even kill the Zerg players, so I do not give the edge to Snoxtar. Snoxtar is now getting into his own upgrades. He's on 3 bases. He can afford to drone up a little bit. Snoxtar is supply blocked, which is slowing him down here, which is a little bit brutal. It takes a while for the roaches to really get going. No Ravagers yet either. Snoxtar, he does spot the second push. Oh boy, here we go. And this time it's going to hit with Stim. So many more Marines, only 1 Firebat for the time being, and only 2 medics as well. So very Marine heavy. We can see Snoxtar setting up with the CranKy. Remember, Snoxtar was supply block. Lise, get in! Oh, Lise do bust into the natural. 4 SCVs go down. And Snoxtar, does he have enough? There's the first Stim. Stim's in. Firebat goes down instantly. Yeah, the Firebat falls. Doesn't target the medics, just going straight for the Marines. And it looks like the roaches, they can hold their own. They do shut the Marines down. And Heinzketchup is now in a lot of trouble. Remember, the first push only killed 1 worker. Here, 0 drones went down. Snoxtar, he defends. He forces the army back. And Heinzketchup back at home. Now getting into a 3rd base and working towards his own tank production. He has no tanks yet. If Snoxtar went for a follow-up all-in, a follow-up big counterattack, I do think he'd be quite successful. But alas, doesn't quite have enough to keep going. He will pull back home, and the game will continue. Heinzketchup getting his 3rd base. And remember, the saturation here at the 3rd base was very lackluster for the Zerg player. Snoxtar is only just now droning. He's only just now droning up. So we will be able to macro from here. Of course, Siege mode did just research. Tanks getting position. Lings, they do confirm the 3rd base. They're going to be able to get 1 SCV, but not much more than that. 1 SCV goes down. As both players will back off from here. Snoxtar, he is free to drone to saturate. I believe there is still no starport. Yeah, no starport for the Terran player. What does this mean? No drop play. Just these head-on pushes, and here comes wave 3. Jesus. Heinzketchup, he's relentless, papi. As he moves out, Lings, they move in, they catch reinforcements. And they're forcing the Terran to be that much more committed. Meanwhile, there is road Ravagers to defend. Ooh, piles connect. Just slowing the army down. Again, tanks sieged up a little bit too far back. There's a lot of creep to work through. But there's just not that much bio. The army does dive in. Tank's going to be going down. He gets 1, he gets both. Both tanks fall. And there just aren't enough Marines here. There's just not enough bio. There's actually more medics than there are Marines. Yeah, and he's going to be able to clean this up. And not just clean this up, but can then counterattack. I mean, 5 SCVs went down throughout all of this. The economy is crippled. More medics being chased down. Expensive losses here for Heinzketchup. Oh no. Snoxtar, he overextends for a moment, pushing into a siege line. He has to respect it, has to back off. Behind this, getting his third basically saturated. Building up more Roach Ravager. And back at home, Heinzketchup doesn't have much SimCity to work with. Once again, being the aggressor here. Oh no, the Ursidon. What an animal. Calm down. It does catch a decent chunk of one Roach, not bad. Let's get a Roach. Forcing the army back, but again, I don't really think Heinzketchup really has any pushing power here. I mean, sure, he has 2 tanks, but there's just not much here to support it. So, bold move by the Terran. It gets an Overlord, gets 2. The Snoxtar, he collapses in, files down the tanks, he gets both of them, and he cleans up the army. He just completely shuts it down, and again, Heinzketchup was so committed with this play, he was so aggressive, so basically all in. It didn't help as well, he was losing SCVs at the same time. And now the final tank is going to go down. Snoxtar looking to overwhelm. There's a tank here after the natural, but again, not much support. GG gets called, and Snoxtar will take game number 1. GG. Snoxtar does take the first game. Again, he's coming in as the more notable player, as the favored player here, but I'm here to be introduced to Heinzketchup. You know, Heinzketchup is not too much of a thing here in Australia. I think I have seen it. I feel like for all the other Aussies in the chat, I feel like Master Foods is a bit of a more popular brand. Could be mistaken. Maybe it's just my household. But, there's competition, papi. Oh, no. The tomato sauce is coming out. Catching up. Catching up in the chat. Hello, Psychons. Hello, Aistan. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Did notice Terminator Stark as well, asking if I'm Latino. Sí, papi, sí. Of course. Of course, papi. I mean, fun fact, some of the first tournaments that we casted were Latin American events, right? Like, we were the official English casters for Copa America. That was back in 2019. That was actually the final Copa America before the end of WCS and before EPT started. That was before the ESL Pro Tour. But we were the official English casters for that. Of course, Sentimiento Latino, Copa America, sorry, Copa Hyperion, the other one. Back in the day, we were all over the Latin American events. Nowadays, there are less of them, unfortunately. But back in the day, that's kind of that was some of our first forays into pro tournament casting. As we are jumping into game number 2 again, Snoxtar does have a lead, and we'll see if he can extend it, if he can take the series to 0, or if Heinzketchup can bounce back. What I will say, despite the fact that this did go the way of Snoxtar, is that clearly the build from Heinzketchup was well practiced, was well versed. Like, clearly, you know, there was a structure to the build itself. Clearly, there was that structure. Here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game. Oh, getting into game 2. Sorry, I was just clarifying the format to the players. I should also clarify for the viewers as well, for those that are curious, how the format works. Obviously, in SC Evo, it's always Brood War versus SC2, right? But the way that it is chosen who is able to play which race or which opposing version of the race. In game 1, player 1 picks, game 2, player 2 picks. They don't alternate necessarily, so they could end up deciding and picking the same races 2 games in a row. Just how things can line up and work out. And here we go, we're getting into game 2, and once again we have our Brood War Terran player, the red Terran. It is Heinzketchup. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of Poland, representing, I believe, Aftermath Esports. It is Snoxtar. He's 12 pulling. He is 12 pulling. And welcome everyone, welcome to Monty Hall. This is a very unique map where you're walled in. You're fully walled in here on one base. You have to mine through the mineral patches to actually expand and go into your natural, or your 3rd, or your 4th, or whichever expansion you want to go for. A very unique map. It's kind of like a pseudo island map because you have to mine out to actually break out into the open. And you can see here that Snoxtar is mining through the center to eventually, I would imagine, Ling Flood? No, double gas. Okay. Double gas opener here out of Snoxtar. He's going for a Roach Rush instead. Okay, so 12 pull into Roach Rush from Snoxtar. Bearing in mind, though, you do have to mine through additional patches to actually allow units to go through. Right now, the way this is lined up here is that a drone, a worker, can go through this, but I believe a main unit cannot, a bit of a larger unit cannot. So I don't think a Roach can actually fit through that. So you have to mine through the mineral patches to actually allow for that to happen. So I don't think Snoxtar is aware. This could be his first time playing on this map. I'm concerned. I'm concerned for Snoxtar here. There's no lair. There's no lair, so there's no Nidus or anything like that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Snoxtar has to mine through more. Like, again, this gold mineral patch here is only for small units. I don't think it's just workers, but I think there are other units that classify as that. I don't think Roach is one of them. As you can see, Snoxtar trying to mine through the center patches. And we're about to confirm. The Roaches, are they too thick? Do they have to suck it in? Yeah, they're too thick. So it's gonna take a little bit for this all-in to get going. They have to mine through that patch to allow for that to happen. Back at home, Heinzketchup going for a Rax into Factory to expand. It's gonna be a delayed CC here for the Terran player going for a faster Factory, but there's no scout. There is no scout from the red Terran, so he doesn't know how much danger he's in. He doesn't know that it is in fact a one base all-in. You can see the SV scouted the northern base. Now he's scouting the southern base. He will soon find out that there is no expansion. And here come the Ravagers. And Lings behind it. Now these are going to be slow Lings for Snoxtar. Extra workers are moving out to mine. Looking at the patches, this one still has 30, this one has 30, this one has 25. So it's still going to take 5 extra workers to mine. And we're sending out 3. Okay. So again, it's gonna. Oh, he sees! He scouts! The SCV does confirm. And again, it's gonna take extra trips here. The Marines, they will check. Yeah, there we go. Bunkers on the way. Oh god! Jesus. Calm down. Bunkers on the way. Marines in position. If the Marines can target down the drones, then they can just end the all-in. Ooh, but the bunker is within range of the piles. Bunkers within range, and how many more patches? One more drone. There it is. The 2 extra workers have arrived. One more patch. It's gonna be mined through, and Snoxtar, he busts in. There's a tank. Siege mode has yet to research. Uh-oh. Yeah, siege mode has not researched. Just now finishing up. Tank is exposed. It's gonna be piled down. Yeah, the Biles, they connect, they shut down the tank, and Snoxtar, despite how delayed this was, it was a late scout. It was a late scout. Heinzketchup was not ready. He was caught with his pants down. The bunker was not ready. Siege mode finished up a couple seconds too late. Wraith is on the way, which will help, but alas, it might just be too little too late. There's 1 tank remaining. Lings, they dive in. Ravagers start to step forward. More SCVs going down. The Biles, well, they don't quite connect. The Wraith has arrived, but again, it tickles units. The Wraith anti-ground attack is just so little. Barely does anything. The Biles, oh my god. Don't quite connect. Final tank does go down. The Lings have arrived. The Speedlings even. Yeah, and it looks like that should be it here, as there's no more economy behind this. GG, well played, and Snoxtar will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. It took a while for the all-in to get going, but Snoxtar, he got there in the end. He eventually did mine through all those patches. We saw that eventually Heinzketchup did realize what was going on, but it took a little bit too long. It was unfortunate. If you remember, Heinzketchup, initially he did scout the northern expansion, and then he mined through the south, and he mined through the southern expansion, then he went for a later scout, then he realized what was going on. Again, it took a little bit to get going, but I do think part of it as well is because of how unorthodox the map is. Things like scouting and your initial builds, and I mean just playing on this map, I do think you just need more experience to get a bit of feel of how to play and how to scout, especially on a map as odd and as strange as Monty Hall. Regardless, GG. GG, well played. We've seen a lot of all-ins on Monty Hall. We've seen a lot of impressive defenses as well. Like we've seen like one base Nidus. We've seen one base Nidus on Monty Hall with Swarmhost, like Swarmhost Nidus play, just pop off. We've seen attempted gate proxies across the map be shut down. I'm always going to remember Classic versus Rebellion on Monty Hall from 2 weeks ago was crazy. I recommend. I do recommend. It was a very, very impressive defense out of a Classic. For those who don't know, Rebellion, he went proxy gate zealot. He went proxy zealot at that expansion location in the center. And Classic, he caught wind, he was able to scout it, and the way that he denied it was he was able to actually combat the worker mining by bringing his own worker over to mine as well. And because it was initially proxy zealot into delayed dragoon, there was no range attack, so the proxy was denied, or at least the wall was solid. Then eventually stalkers arrived in time, and they made sure that Rebellion could never actually mine through that middle patch because Classic was basically worker drilling and denying that kind of mining by also mining at the same time. It was crazy. It was really, really impressive defense out of Classic. But there's like little like stuff like that you can do as well. Regardless, GG. GG, well played. Snoxtar will take the series, will advance on into the round of 16, and now we can take a look at the bracket. Oh boy.